Hey, what's going on? How are you today? We recently just purchased an Airbnb property in Delray Beach, Florida, and I wanted to just kind of talk about it a little bit so that we had it documented. So we talked about it, and that there's basically some logistics and things that we can show you that we did behind the whole thing. So first off, I got my license down there in Florida and actually purchased the property by myself. And, kind of just felt my way through the whole process. And there's a couple things that go into purchasing an Airbnb property. And two of the tools that we really used were Airbnb itself, so that we understood what the rental prices were going to be in that market. And there's also another site that's called AirDNA that really drills down on a lot of the data in Airbnb, VRBO, and just the renting short term in general. So they compile all the data and they give it all to you. I mean, obviously you have to pay for it, but you can get a lot of information for free from that website that will allow you to really discern what your real rental comps are and what you're going to get on a per night basis. When we do our Airbnb analysis, we run it on an extremely conservative number always. I mean, it's the same thing when you're renting a property out. You want to make sure that your numbers are correct up front, or else you're going to lose money on the back end. And really, we're in this business in order to make money, so we want to make sure that our numbers are correct and that we're going on a worst case scenario, because if it's the best case scenario and we've already planned for the worst, we're that much further ahead in that process. When we run our analysis, everything's done on 200 nights a year. So we kind of we use that number because that's what we used in New Jersey. It made a lot of sense. We have about 100 days in the summertime that are rentable, and that's over like a 3.5 month period. And after that, you are going into the winter months, so they're not, you don't get as many rentals and days that are rentable throughout that time. So really, realistically, here in New Jersey, your market's a lot more compressed in terms of the time that you get in rentability. So we use that number, 200 nights a year. That's what we used in Delray Beach, Florida, which is in South Florida. It's a little bit north of Fort Lauderdale, a little bit just south of West Palm, to kind of give you an idea of where the property is. So 200 nights a year should be a slam dunk there. Realistically, we should be able to rent it somewhere between 250 and 300 nights a year, and then go and use it for ourselves the rest of the time. So really, that was like, those are the numbers that we're using on it. So in terms of rentability, we bought a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and our number is between $250 and $300 a night. So we just averaged it out. We used $275 a night, and as a number, I mean, if you wanted to go ultra conservative, just use the bottom number, $250 a night, 200 nights, $50,000 gross in annual income. So that's your gross, though. Just keep that in mind. And we bought the property for $450,000. Our payment's a little more than $2,000 a month. So obviously we have some other expenses that are going to go into it. You're going to have your landscaping, internet, you have all your utilities that you have to pay for. And there's a couple other things that I'm not thinking of right off the top of my head here, but there are other expenses that go into there. So your net number is going to be obviously different than what your gross number is, because you have principal, interest, taxes, insurance. You have your monthly expenses that you're putting into the property, and you basically come up with a number based on that. So my projection for this is my net number at the end of the day is going to be somewhere right around $20,000, and that's based on the $200 night a year rental. And realistically, I mean, like, anything over that is a bonus. It's just not something that I really accounted for, and I don't really need in order for the numbers to make sense for me. So 200 nights a year, we're really just trying to get to that number at an average of $275 a night, and go from there. Now, the cool thing about South Florida is that a property with a pool is worth about $100 more per night. So my 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a pool is going to be worth more, is about $350 to $400 a night. So you figure $100 a night, a pool, 200 nights a year, that's 20 grand. So realistically, my numbers that I've been finding for a pool are anywhere from $35,000 to $60,000 to have it installed. And so, I mean, realistically, like once the pool's in, it pays for itself. It's a no-brainer. So we're going to put a pool in. And I don't know. I mean, at that number with the pool in there, I mean, once the pool's paid off, obviously it becomes even more profitable. But even with the pool, assuming you could assume there's a $400 or $500 payment. I mean, we're going to finance the whole thing. I mean, no sense in putting our own cash out of the pocket. And I mean, the money's so cheap right now. It's almost stupid to pay cash for something like that. So we're just going to use the cash flow in order to pay for the loan to pay for the pool. So that's really what our business model is. I'm going to save the cash that I have in my pocket in order to go buy another piece of property or another asset that will make me money at the end of the day. So that's purchasing the property. I mean, so there's a lot more that went into it, and we'll get into that in the next video. Talk to you later.